organ donation in this session. We'll go over all you need to know about organ donation and what essential things you need to know regarding it. So on the panel, we have the Associate Director of MAX, Dr. Vandana Boobna, and we also have the CEO of Organ India herself, Sunayana Singh. We also have with us the brave Merlyn Paul, a successful kidney transplant recipient and participant of the WTG23. On the other hand, we have Meeta Gutgutia herself, who is the founder of Women Listed and co-founder of Sipping Thoughts and co-founder of FNP. So I'll be handing over the session to her now.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you so much. Welcome, Sunayana, Merlyn, Dr. Vandana, and we will invite Sushil Khenka later. So, Sunayana, as I was talking about it, that this conversation we have been wanting to do pre-COVID, and we were in talk with somebody where we said, okay, let's take a group pledge, all our community members, we kind of create awareness. Then suddenly COVID happened, and that time the conversation about donation was taken a back seat. So recently, somebody was shared your information on one of the chat groups, and then immediately I connected with you that we must do this conversation because it is really, really important. And I feel guilty that I have been talking about it. I have been wanting to do it for many, many years, but it's just that you never find it so important that you do it. Especially in that case where I have my own brother-in-law who is here. He was donated kidney twice. And we know that how much we fought for his life, prayed for his life, had a experience in our own family. Then also I never pledged to donate. So it's kind of, okay, we never give importance to these things. When it comes, like hota na ki when you go to Shamshan Ghat and you say ki life ka koi fayda nahi hai. But next day you come back again and you get busy with life. And recently I was watching this show on Netflix. I think it is Inside My Heart or something. I'll find the name. So that was all about organ trafficking. So then it was kind of, okay, the nature is kind of giving me a message that this conversation is very, very important and we must have a talk on this.
I think human it is, organ trafficking,
human organ, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, Naina, I will like first to hear your story.
Yeah, so thanks so much for having me here. And also, it's nice to have Merlyn as well. Merlyn has had 2 kidney transplants. And you're right. I mean, I'm glad you did it. Doesn't matter if it was, few years later than you thought you'd want to do it. That's all right. It's something that everybody needs to know. It's nothing that they have to do right now. It's just something that everyone should be aware of. Like, why do you need to know about organ donation? You should just know. Later on, if you want to be an organ donor, that is up to you. Nobody is forcing you. Nobody is, insisting that you do it. But general awareness on what can happen, what you can donate, when you can donate, and how to kind of pledge. That's very important. And like you mentioned, you saw this Netflix trailer. Now, every time there's a new show on Netflix or Prime Video, I get really scared because inevitably they will pick on the negative aspects of, organ donation. They will pick on, I know that growing up, there was always a negative connotation associated with organ donation. One would always read stories about how, people were trafficked or, those some movies where somebody was kidnapped and they wake up and there's a star along their side. There were many such movies. So generally, organ donation has been always associated with something negative. And it's not to say that it doesn't happen. Of course it does. But over the years, since the law was introduced, since people are donating after their deaths, all of the things have become much better. And there is now a proper authority that deals with allocation of organs. There is a way to declare deaths. People can donate upon their death. They can even donate while they're alive. And there's a proper law laid down for that. So things are definitely improving. And what we want to do is not to insist that people pledge their organs or donate their organs. We just want to give information to them that look, everyone is going to die one day. I mean, it's inevitable. Upon your death, sometimes it will be possible for whoever's died to donate their organs. Most of the time, it won't be possible because there's very specific, you have to be brain dead in order to donate. So you have to die in a very specific way if the organs are to be donated. So if you do die in such a way, then the hospital will come forward. They will ask the family that, look, this person has died, they're brain dead, their heart is still beating, but it's because they're on a ventilator, the brain is dead and the rest of the organs are functioning just fine, and the organs can be donated. Then in India, as per the law, it's up to the family to decide. Do they want to go ahead with the donation? Do they not want to go ahead with the donation? And many times when suppose anybody, the patient has already in their lifetime spoken to the family and said, yes, I think this is a great idea, then it'll be much easier for the family to make that decision. A lot of the time is the first time the family is hearing about organ donation, so then it becomes very difficult. They're facing such a big tragedy, but yet a lot of people do go ahead and say yes. And then, as you know, multiple lives can be saved. You can donate your heart, your liver, lungs, kidneys, small intestine, and you can save up to almost 8 lives. And if the liver is split into 2, that means the liver can actually be split up and put into 2 different recipients. Then you can even save up to 9 lives. So it's a wonderful thing. It's just something you need to know about. And as you will be hearing from Merlyn, and we just recently came back from Australia, and at the end of April, we took an Indian contingent to the World Transplant Games. We had 32 athletes going, all of whom had organ transplants, all of whom who were at one point, facing death, got a transplant, came back to life, worked hard, were extremely fit, went and competed and won 35 medals for India.
Wow.
So those are the kind of stories. Yeah, I mean, this is what you can do after transplant. Doesn't mean you're a patient. Means you can go out, you can be totally fit. I mean, they were all fitter than all of us, definitely, like every one of them. So it busts a lot of myths about what people think about, after you have a transplant. It can not only can it save a life, it can lead to a very fit, healthy life.
Okay. So first question, I thought that once you pledge or you donate your organ, it becomes, what is the process? Like in what condition the organs can be used, even if you have pledged or agreed to donate your organs?
You
said brain dead is a very, very rare condition. It doesn't happen to everybody.
I mean, yes, let's say, about 5% of the population will die in such a way for organ donation to be possible. So the brain death means it's in the case of somebody who's had a really bad accident. They have a bad brain injury, they're taken to the hospital, they're put on the ventilator to ensure that, they're still breathing and everything. And if the injury is really severe, that means the entire brain completely dies. There are tests in the law that if the hospital feels that, look, this brain injury is really, really bad, there's no activity in the brain, they will do a series of tests. And only if those tests are positive, then they will declare that person brain dead. But because they are on a ventilator, they still, the other organs are working fine. The heart is working fine. If you're dead, if your brain is dead, you're dead, right? I mean, it's never going to come back. You're never going to regain consciousness. You're never going to breathe on your own again. So there is a definition of death which is in the law. And if the person is declared brain dead, that is the only time where the organs are able to be used, right? So if somebody whose heart stops beating, the other organs will die almost immediately. So you cannot.
I don't know whether I read it somewhere or it was 8 hours window you get to after you die, and then within 8 hours the body can.
No, that 6 hours is for eye donation. So cornea donation, skin donation. But in India right now, they are 99% of the transplants are being done from brain dead donors. In the West, they have something called DCD, this is called DBD, right? Donation after brain death. So in the West, they have something called DCD, large part of Europe, it's called donation after cardiac death. That is much more complicated. That is when you know somebody is going to die, right? You take permissions prior to it. And the moment the heart stops, then they open up the body and take out the organs like that. But otherwise, in India, it's all after brain death, because the brain is you're dead, but the organs are still functioning because you're on ventilator support. However, the time frame is less. I mean, the faster the family agrees and the faster the organs are retrieved, obviously, the better condition they will be in. If the family waits too long to say yes, eventually the heart, will fail, and then along with it, all the other organs. So time is of essence. If somebody is declared brain dead, the family needs to be made aware of it, and if they want to agree, then they should do so in a fast.
Oh my. So it says like even if you decide, even if you pledge,
Yeah, it doesn't mean
it's like 1 in 100 you might be out.
Yeah, but this is a huge country, and 1 in 100 is lots. Like if you take the entire population of India. So there are a lot of cases where it's either not declared at that particular hospital, or it is declared and the patient's family may say no because they're not sure about it. But usually when a family, hears about it and they hear that, okay, my relative may be no more, but I can save so many other people. They say yes.
Tell me one thing, that when a death happens in the family, my sister, Dr. Vandana is also here. How many times that the families think of it? Okay, let me think on those lines of donating, or the organs can be used to somebody. Like
I said, organ donation will happen at a hospital after when the person is actually declared they're on a ventilator. So the hospital will take the initiative and come and ask the family. However, like eye donation, we get a lot of calls. A lot of people donate their eyes. The moment there's a death, the call is made to an eye bank, or it's made to NATO, or it's made to whatever the local agencies, and people say that please, the so and so wanted to donate their eye. And by eye, I mean just the cornea of the eye. They don't take the whole eye. They only take the the transparent part over the iris. That's all they come and take. So people do know about it, because there was a big campaign on eye donation many years ago with Aishwarya Rai. So people are aware of eye donation. And the more people talk about it, the more they hear from recipients, the more they hear about how it's such a wonderful thing, they will come forward. It's not that they'll say no.
So it means the chances of organs being used is very, very as you said, India is a large population. So even if the lesser number also will be hundreds, but
correct.
That part, major part of our country is rural, not awareness, no education. So what is your experience? You tell me about your story. How did you start, and what is your experience, challenge, success rates?
Yeah, so like you said, lack of education really, a lot of the times it doesn't matter. A lot of people who ended up donating, the families, they may not be very educated, but they understand, they understand that yes, this person has died, my relative has died, my husband or brother or wife or whatever, but I can save somebody else. So education really doesn't come into play that much. It is just the basic the feeling behind it, that yes, I want to help other people, and even in the midst of my tragedy, this is a good thing. I mean, I've heard of people who, construction workers who had a terrible accident at the construction site. The father came, and he was not educated, but he understood. There's a friend of mine who's a transplant coordinator. She was talking to him, and he said, "No, I trust you, and if you say this is a good thing, then please go ahead."
So let me ask you one thing. It means organ donation in. What do you call it? Initiators who are like how you are working in that space. So they're placed in hospitals and all the places where
Yes. Yes. So every transplant center has to have a transplant coordinator who will, will do all the coordination for the transplants. Like for example, Max has one, Apollo has one, Fortis has one, Ames has one, Safdarjung has. They will all have a transplant coordinator.
Okay, so they will get an opportunity that whenever they see that, they are informed that this is the case, and
right. they will approach the family, they will counsel the family, they they will do everything that's required. And if the family agrees, then the donation goes ahead. If the family says no, that's fine. They are not pushed for it. They are not forced to do anything. It's just a choice that's given to them.
Okay. And what is the normal conversion rate? Like if conversion rate is not the right word, but how many families on average do you think that gets convinced?
There was I think in the South it's more. In the South anyway, generally the organ donation rates are much higher. There's a lot more awareness in the southern states on organ donation. I wouldn't know the exact details of the conversion rate. That depends from hospital to hospital. But if the person is there, they are good counselors. The doctors are ready there to declare the brain death. Then yes, conversion rate will be high. In fact, now it's picking up. Like during COVID, of course, it had gone virtually, was very less. But after COVID, now there are a lot of donations happening. However, in India, still in the entire year, even last year, we have not crossed 1,000 donors ever. So yes, I think last year the figure is around 930 donors throughout in all of India.
What is the waiting list for donation in India?
It's very big. Again, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's estimated that it's around 5 lakh people suffering from various diseases are probably in need of organ transplants. Very few of them actually get registered, and then obviously much fewer get the transplant.
Okay. I can see Anuji here. Anuji, you want to share something?
Please, yes, please.
Yeah.
I have a few questions. I made a living will about 3-4 years ago. And in that, I wrote about all my organs to be used. I'm over 80. So if it can be used, to use it. And rest of the body to be given away for medical experimentation.
Okay,
and it had to be registered. It had to be registered. And it was during COVID. So I was told mine was the first to be registered. But if I die suddenly at home, how do other people, how many people should have the copies of my living will? My daughter has it, but say she's not in town. Then who will do that? And the second thing is, are my organs of any use after 80?
Yes. So Anuji, I think that's really wonderful, really nice that you want to even do body donation. So what you're talking about is body donation. Body donation means your entire body is given to medical science. So both cannot be done. So if suppose something happens and the organs are donated, then the body cannot be donated because it will be without organs. However, the more likely option is body donation. And for that, you have to, in your lifetime, like, are you based in Delhi? Are you based in Bombay?
Pune.
Pune. Okay, so after this, we will get in touch with you. And there are several medical schools in Pune which accept bodies for donation. In fact, it's on our website, which is organindia.org. And if you go there, there's something called the Body Donation Directory. In that directory, you will find all the institutions in Pune that accept bodies after death. So you must go to them beforehand. Each one of them has a different form. There's no common form. And they will explain to your relatives what the entire process is. So that when anything happens, your relatives will have to call the hospital and say, the institution, and say that so-and-so has passed away. She wanted to donate her body. Please come and take it. So it's like, that's how body donation works. So body donation is different from organ donation. It's a different law altogether. However, this is how it happens. So for example, if somebody in Delhi, in fact, last week only we coordinated a body donation. Somebody had passed away. They wanted to donate. They had not gone previously to any hospital to register themselves, any institution. So then we coordinated that with them. Eventually the body went to Safdarjung Hospital. So that's how it happens. So body donation or organ donation or eye donation, you must tell your relatives. Regarding the will, I think by the time the will comes into play, it'll be too late. So in
No,
India,
it's a living will specially for this. It's not my money and all that, not
yeah,
at
yeah,
all.
yeah.
It's a different thing.
But it's
So,
not
and
valid.
there I was, no, I'm registered with a lawyer, and it's all registered. So what use was I paid? I think, I don't know if I paid or not, but also I was told cornea and some organs can be used, and then the rest of the body can be given for experiment.
Correct. Right.
So then you are saying you can give the body or the organ.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
talking
told
about
both
vital organs. I'm not talking about cornea. So cornea you can donate.
cornea.
Even skin you can donate. So skin
Yeah.
is very, very important, right? They take the skin from the lower back and the back of the thighs, and it goes to burn victims, acid attack victims who need grafting. So then, yes, you can donate the body as well.
No. So how can you tell us your what email ID? Where can we get in touch with your
Yeah.
organization?
I'll do that. I will just send you the email ID.
Put it on the group only so other people also in
Yeah,
case.
that's right.
Yeah, so you can even call us. Not a problem. We have a helpline. India.org. Okay, so that's the email ID. What we'll do is, if you message me your number on the direct message, we'll give you a call right after, and then we can clear your all your doubts.
Rohit will share Sunayana's number
Yes.
to Anuji.
Yeah.
Rohit,
So,
share.
but as far as the will is concerned, the law is very clear. Your relatives have to give consent. There is no way around that. So your relatives must be, I'm sure they already know, since you have made the living will, that this is what you want to do, but they must give consent at the time. That is the law in India. So it's not like if I want to be an organ donor, I can get my card, right? I can get the card, I can have it, I'll show it to you. But at the end of the day, it is my next of kin who will make the decision. So it'll be my husband, it'll be my kids, it'll be my brother, sister, whoever is there. So it doesn't matter
fair.
that
That's not my wish.
Yeah, that's the law, unfortunately.
No, but how? The whole idea of doing this in lifetime is that my decision supersedes anyone else's.
Right. I agree with
Otherwise,
you.
But that should be changed. Is that abroad also?
No, that is in India.
No.
I mean, every country has different laws, but in India, this is the law that you have a donor card. Yes, that shows your intent. However, the final decision is with the family. So that's how it is. It's a lot of people object to it, but that's how it is. I think they just want to safeguard and make sure that whatever the reasons are, but that is the law here. So same with body donation, same with eye donation. It's the relatives who will take the money.
So, yeah, you didn't answer one question. If she is 80, her organs will be of use or?
Yes, definitely. It depends. Sometimes organs are very healthy even in an elderly person. Sometimes organs are very unhealthy in a very young person. So the doctors at the time will examine, and then if they are fit, they will be donated. So it's like that. It all depends on the treating physician at that time who will determine. Also, the former chairperson of Gangaram, Shri Tej Ramji, he passed away at 88, and his organs were donated. So that doesn't, it doesn't mean that they cannot be just because somebody is elderly.
Okay. And another question, in a leading question from Anuji. If you have an option of giving your body as a donation, or if you're giving your certain organs as a donation, what is better?
Both are great. I mean, organs will save lives, whereas even body donation can save lives, because how else do doctors train, right? How will they actually get through medical school, figure out anything about our bodies, and everything like that. So both are great. I think both are amazing.
Same as like when you have a time limit for organ donation. Do you have a
Right.
time limit for a body donation also?
I think it's within 12 to 24 hours. I think 12 hours is a good time, especially when it's very hot. So that the institute that you go to, that they will tell you, but within 12 to 24 hours you have.
Okay. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
So now we have talked about, let's bring the real life stories from Merlyn. Sunayana, you will bring Merlyn in. How do you want to?
Yeah, so I'll introduce Merlyn. So Merlyn is from Kerala. We got to meet her because when we were looking for athletes who wanted to go to represent India at the World Transplant Games, we met her and we met her sister. She's a 2-time kidney recipient, and she won a medal also at the World Transplant Games in Australia. So Merlyn, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Meeta, and especially Sunayana. And nice to meet you after so long. I just want to say that, yes, I've been hearing the discussion and how many people are working behind or the cause of organ donation. And it's my privilege to be a face of somebody who has received an life-saving organ, and that also twice. So both my both my transplants were through living donors. One, I was diagnosed when I was 15. So small background about myself. So I was diagnosed when I was 15. I was studying in school in Delhi, and the whole life came crashing down to this thing that how will I live now? And then after a series of tests, my mother decided to donate. That was my first kidney transplant. And so it was basically, I think, 13 years back. And that time, nobody in our family had even thought of such a thing and even was so aware about organ donation, except for the eye donation campaign that happened that time. And after the transplant, I went on to complete my studies. I went on to work for 6 years. So I just want to say that there is a huge difference, a donated kidney or any life-saving organ can make in a person's life, because it's like you are receiving another life altogether. Because except for it, your life would come to a standstill, and for kidney patients, you'll have to go through dialysis 3 or 2 times a week just to survive. And I was a very young girl back then, and 15, 16 to 20, if I was not given this gift, then I cannot imagine my life, how it would have turned out. But there are many of my friends, my contemporaries who are living on dialysis, and it's a hard life, even though they have been surviving and doing great. So about my second transplant, it came 2 years back, when unfortunately my native kidney disease came back. But this time I had to shift, I had to relocate with my parents in Kochi. And this time it was my sister who came forward, who saw me struggling back again in life of having dialysis. And it's a very overwhelming experience, to be very frank, because it's when you are having such a chronic illness, it's not only you, it's your whole family going through that thing. And so she's just 2 years older to me, and she came forward and donated her kidney to me. And after that, I resolved that, no matter what, I want to give it my best to stay fit. And being inspired from her, I started, training and just maintaining a general healthy lifestyle. And that's how I came across World Transplant Games. And participating in World Transplant Games was the best thing ever, because when I went there, I saw what a life-saving transplant can do to a person. these athletes were pro level athletes there all over the world. And there is so much to learn and getting inspired from them. So yeah, that's my experience, and that's what I would like to share.
Thank you, Merlyn. Sunayana, I want to ask, what were the challenges? And like, it's not easy for family to there are so many myths and reservations and fear. And so how was it that like, you got the kidneys from your family? So what were the conversation like? And
So first time, actually, my mother is a senior nurse, and my father was in Air Force, a lab technician. So both were in medical fields, so, but nobody will expect such a thing to happen. And the conversations, I think for a mother to donate to her kid, which normally happens in India, which I've seen a lot of the people I talk to in support group, their mothers are always just come ahead without thinking. But it's very difficult. I mean, because of the lack of awareness, generally, even my family, it was like my mother was very upfront and clear about donating her organ to me. But generally, I've seen there's a lot of hesitation. There's sometimes refusal also, because it's a doubt, like how will be my life after donating the kidney. So our doctor was of immense help at that time. He counseled my mother. He said, this is what is going to happen. If your life is at threat, we would never do this to you. Your life is of the primary importance here. It's your willingness, and you have to make a conscious decision about it. That's how they were counseled. And even in my sister's case, she had a lot of doubt. Everything was cleared by the doctor. I mean, what will be life after donation? What are the risks involved? Everything is given a very clear picture. After donation, both of them had 1 or 2 weeks of recovery, which was pretty tough in the sense of there is pain, there is something that is happening. But after 2 weeks, the life goes back to as it is. They recover well, and they start their life as it was before the donation. So coming back to it, it's always difficult. It's a very, very tough time in the family. Family is not supportive. The patient's life is very difficult mentally and psychologically. You just take a beating because anyways, physically, you're not feeling well. I realize I'm fortunate in that aspect of my life, but I also have read many stories and come across many stories where patients have not been so lucky. And yeah, it's at that case, I wonder like how much a cadaver donation matters. That is what Sunayana was talking about, the brain death donation matters, how much it matters to them. Yeah.
And what was the recipient guilt? Was there any, like, how did you go through the whole process? Because normally you feel that I am taking a part of, I'm putting my parent, my sister at risk. So
exactly. It's the second time around. First time I was too young to even think about all this. It was just like going through something and just coming out of it. It was I was just 19 years old and pretty sad and depressed all the time, but I didn't know anything and after that, when I started reading, learning, and talking to other people, I became aware of what kind of condition I had and how many people have it with me. And even though women getting diagnosed were less at that time, I think now it is equal, or I don't know. But at that time, women were not at the receiving end of a kidney transplant more. So when I started talking to women, I started realizing that, how tough their life was, because not many people agreed to donate and everything. But at the second time, when my sister was donating, I went through a huge, cycle of being overwhelmed, self-blaming, everything. And at that time, I can only say it was only her who told me that it's okay, who made me okay, who sat me down and, made me okay about all this. So as I said again, that not many people are fortunate in that way, that is for sure, because uh, family support is a huge thing. And except for that, I wouldn't have come out of it at all. They counseled me, basically. I was going down the drains and they counseled me that it's okay. It's something happened to you. It was not something you did. So have courage and face this and just move on with life. So that's what they told me.
Thank you. Thank you, Merlyn, for sharing your story. Sunayana, you want to add something to it? Then we will call Sushil Khemka and Dr. Vandana Boobna.
So one point which Merlyn said, which is, pretty important, is that, so most of the transplants happening in India are living donations, right? So there's, I think in 2021, total number of transplants were around 12,259, something like that. Out of those, most of them are living transplants, around 10,000 something are from living donors, right? They're not from people who passed away and then their organs were donated. So this is living donation, living transplants, and these are deceased donor transplants. Big difference. Whereas in any country which has a very good, healthy, system, it would be the other way around. You would have most of your donations coming from people who died and donated, and fewer from people who are living right now. And that's the correct way, otherwise people have to be, give up an organ while they're alive. So the aim is always to make sure that the rate of deceased donation goes up. Right now, our rate of donation is 0.52 per million population. That means out of every 1 million people in India, only 0.52 donate their organs. I mean, so basically 1 in 20 million ends up donating after their death. That's very less, obviously. Like countries in like Spain, US and all, they have high organ donation rates, like 50 per million, 45 per million, like that. So that is the ultimate aim, that you want to reduce the amount of living donations and have enough donations coming from people who've said yes to organ donation, whose families have said yes to organ donation after death. So that is the aim. And unfortunately, out of these living transplants that happen in India, almost 80% are from women to men. So it's not from, it's not like a 50-50 kind of situation. It is almost inevitably the woman who will give to the man, the wife, the mother, mainly the wife, probably the sisters will give. That's not to say that there aren't men who donate as well. There are, obviously, but they're in a minority. So that is a very badly skewed ratio. Many reasons for it. Most are obvious why the woman would be the one donating. So I had one doctor tell me that if if a man needed a transplant, and he's done thousands of transplants, that when the family comes, of course the wife will be there and whatever. When the woman needs it, the husband and his family are nowhere around, and she'll come with her brothers and her, her parents or whatever. So this was several years ago, but I think the numbers still are pretty much holding. It is always the woman, usually 80%, 70-80% of the time, giving to the man. So there's that as well. So the idea is that living donations should decrease. Deceased donations should be many, many more, so that people don't have to give up an organ in their lifetime. They can, whoever needs it can take it from someone who's already dead.
Thank you, Sunayana. So now let me invite Sushil Khemka and Dr. Vandana. So,
hello.
So I told you before the show that Sushil Khemka is my brother-in-law and very, very, very kind of loved member of the family. And this is my first-hand experience how we have seen a loved one going through that crisis and pain and waiting for kidney. My sister is a consultant and he's under her supervision, and she is a senior consultant or director in Max. So
doesn't matter. I'm a doctor.
so yeah. So now listen to a doctor's perspective and another survivor story. So, Dr. Vandana, you will bring it forward.
So you have, thank you for inviting me. And as you have said, from the doctor's perspective, I really want to congratulate Sunayana for working in the direction of organ donation, because it really needs lots of counseling, awareness, and convincing people to come forward for organ donation. And Merlyn, you have been very, very lucky, and congratulations. You have earned your donation because you are taking care of your all the 2 kidneys, 4 kidneys. I think you have 4 kidneys now. So yeah, they're richer than others. So from the doctor's perspective, what we know is only the iceberg of the, a huge mountain. Because the people who register for organ donation, the number is very, very less. And a large number of population is out there with end organ damage. So if we talk about the end organ damage, we can live a life with see blindness, we can live a life with a scar. But let's talk about the heart, lung, kidney. These are the vital organs of our body. So if supposedly somebody's son is 15 years old, is suffering from the cardiomyopathy with the heart percentage of only 10%, and he requires a heart transplant, as Merlyn was only 15-year-old undergoing regular dialysis, still she can survive with the dialysis. But the person who is having end-stage liver disease or end-stage heart disease, they don't have much time. So they need organ donation ASAP. But understand the mentality and the mindset of the families who has a member who has the end stage. They have, by the time they know about the organ requirement or organ transplant requirement in the family, they are exhausted with the money, they are exhausted with their time work frame, because they have to take so much of leaves, they have to regularly go to the hospital. By visiting the hospital, they are mentally exhausted. So जब तक ऑर्गन ट्रांसप्लांट की बात आती है, तब तक मुझे लगता है सारी फैमिली कंफ्यूज हो जाती है और डिसीजन प्रोसेस जो होता है वो टायर्ड हो जाता है. So it requires lots of counseling and convincing to come a family member forward to donate the organ, because आपको बताना पड़ेगा कि जो बीमार है उसके साथ अगर आप organ donate करते हो तो आप बीमार नहीं रहोगे, you will be healthy. Because a doctor will not accept your organ until the doctor has made sure that you will live comfortably after that. For giving a life to a diseased person, we cannot make the healthy person diseased. This is very important. So we have two donations. One is live donation, one is the cadaveric donation. Live donation is people have to come forward to donate. The moment we discuss donation with the families, either they run away or they are just mentally prepared that yes, this person is now not okay. They almost, मतलब आप urban population की बात करो, आप rural population की बात करो, which is 80% of India. How much awareness is there? How much health approach is there? How much they are going to a center where transplant facility is there? How much they are going to a doctor who is counseling them about the end organ disease and the transplant requirement? So there are multifactorial things. Muddaji has asked why not hospitals are coming forward and making people aware about the organ donation. Ask me. I do it every day. The moment I know that this is the end stage disease, in the chamber so much is being done, you people are not aware of it. And we are making so many, so many programs of bringing, I requested you to bring Sushil Jiaji today because I want to know the public from the patient's perspective, from the doctor's perspective. Yes, these works are being done. But you also have to come forward. Whenever we ask any family member, they have so much of this thing कि नहीं हमने नहीं देना, बेटियां शादी करके जाएंगी, लड़के काम करेंगे, हमारी तो एज हो गई है जी, 2 किडनी में 1 किडनी डोनेट करोगे कुछ नहीं होगा, और पार्ट ऑफ लिवर डोनेट करोगे कुछ नहीं होगा. हार्ट तो हम जिंदा लोगों से मांगते ही नहीं है, कैडेवरिक से मांग रहे हैं. So there are so many, it is not done in a moment. There's so much work behind it. You come to a hospital where organ donation is being done on that day, and imagine the amount of work is being done in the backstage. अगर किसी कैडेवरिक डोनेशन की बात करते हैं तो इसका ये मतलब होता है कि पेशेंट इज नॉट गोइंग टू लिव. आप 4 दिन 5 दिन निकालेंगे, ब्रेन डेड हो चुके हैं, लेकिन हार्ट, लिवर, किडनी सब काम कर रहे हैं. और अगर हम डिसीजन लेते हैं कि हम ऑर्गन डोनेट करेंगे तो पूरी टीम लगती है उस ऑर्गन को सेव करने के लिए. इतना बड़ा चैलेंज है फ्रॉम अ डेड पर्सन टू टेम्परेचर मेंटेनेंस, इलेक्ट्रोलाइट मेंटेनेंस, यूरिन आउटपुट मेंटेनेंस. वो 24 घंटा एवरीबडी कीप्स देयर फिंगर्स क्रॉस्ड कि हम वो मोमेंट निकाल सके, इनके ऑर्गन को सेव कर सके, so that we can give lives to 8 people. So as far as organ donation is concerned, yes, people should know ki how we donate organs, which organs can be donated, how the organs are being donated, and what will be the perspective of the person who has donated the organ. We have lots of regard to the I will not say a cadaver, it doesn't give respect to the person, but mere har prescription mein whoever has donated is 3-star already hai. Matlab those people, every prescription will be 3-star to the person who has donated the organ and to the families who have decided to donate the organ. And trust me, पुलिस वाले या ये लोग जल्दी अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं इन चीजों को when we tell them for the cadaveric donation. But जो educated class होती है उनको समझाने में बहुत दम निकलता है, because they are so much of emotions and these things, and they do not want to go for this. तो cadaveric donation is one thing. मुझे लगता है कि अगर आपको चांस मिलता है, टचवुड किसी के साथ ना हो, गॉड फॉरबिड, लेकिन अगर चांस है तो people should really come forward. As Sunayana has said, साउथ में बहुत अवेयरनेस है इस चीज के लिए, इसलिए people are running to the south. लेकिन it is not done in a day. आपको सेंट्रल रजिस्ट्रेशन करनी पड़ती है, आपको डोमिसाइल लेना पड़ता है, आपको उस जगह अवेलेबल होना पड़ता है, आपको 5 मिनट में कॉल आती है कि बस आप आ जाओ डोनेशन के. इट इज नॉट इजी. पूरी एक चेन होती है इसको कन्वर्ट करने के लिए. क्या पता आप कौन से कोने में और आपको कहाँ से कॉल आ गई है उस समय में. So somebody again has said कि क्या we can register in 2 states? I don't think so. So as of what I know of is कि you can register in 1 state or to a hospital which has multiple chains in different states, but they will allow you having a transplant at once. I think Sunayana will agree to this. I don't know, but probably this is the system. So yes, 5, India mein donation is very, very less, and large number of population is waiting for organ donation. The quality of life is very bad because, and ज्यादा लोगों का तो मन बना हुआ है कि अब उनकी बीमारी यही है और अब उनका यही एंड होना है. सो आई थिंक ये दिमाग से जाना चाहिए, अवेयरनेस आनी चाहिए. दे शुड रजिस्टर फॉर ऑर्गन डोनेशन. क्या पता किसको कब क्या क्लिक कर जाए. और family members should also come forward. Husband's donation, I wanted to call Rohit. He's a young person and he has donated his kidney to his wife. They are my patients for over 5 years now. So ऐसा नहीं है, people are coming forward, they are donating, but we need more from what we have today. So this is it from a doctor's perspective.
Dr. Vandana, you want to bring Sushil Khemka to share, because
yes,
you two have
Sushil Khemka is not only my patient, he's my relative also. And he has been with us. I'm associate director in Shalimar Bagh in internal medicine, and he has been associated with us since 2012. And he's again having, as Merlyn is having dual kidney transplant. He had 1 transplant in 2000, which I was not there to witness it, but the second was which was a live donor transplant, but the second was the cadaveric transplant. And yes, I was there whole night raising hair and there. And yes, he underwent that cadaveric transplant in Shalimar Bagh also. So he had a wonderful quality of life after that. So he can share his stories with us.
Thank you, Meeta. Thank you, Dr. Vandana. Thank you for inviting me. So मेरा ये सेकेंड ट्रांसप्लांट कैडवरिक हुआ और डॉक्टर वंदना के रेफरेंस से मैंने इसका नंबर लगवाया था मैक्स में, जो भी एप्लीकेशन होता है। मेरा गुड लक है कि टाइम पे आ गया, और संजोग से मैं एक्चुअली यहाँ ही रहता हूँ, पहले हिमाचल में रहता था। तो जिस समय कॉल आया उस समय मैं दिल्ली में ही था, और डॉक्टर वंदना और डॉक्टर मीता गुटकुटिया के साथ ही था। तो मैं भी डिसाइड नहीं कर पा रहा था कि क्या करूँ, जब मेरे मैक्स शालीमार बाग से कॉल आया कि आपका नंबर है और कैटेगरी किडनी आपसे मैच कर रही है, तो इन दोनों का सपोर्ट रहा। फिर मैं गया उसी समय और मैक्स में एडमिट हुआ। डॉक्टर वंदना, मीता, सब लोग साथ थे हमारे। तो डॉक्टर वंदना के अंडर में तो मैं 2012 से हूँ, तो मैं तो हाँ करके निश्चिंत हो गया कि अब डॉक्टर वंदना का हेडेक है, कैसे क्या होना है। तो एंड कैटेगरी मिला। मैं चाहा कि भाई जिसने डोनेट किया है मैं उससे मिलूं, थैंक्स करूं, लेकिन वो मौका मुझे नहीं मिला। बट जब भी मुझे याद आती है और रोज सुबह मैं उनको थैंक्स करता हूँ कि जिनकी भी किडनी है वो हमारे दिल में लाइव है। कैडवरिक और लाइव डोनेशन होना चाहिए हमारे हिसाब से, क्योंकि हमारे आसपास जितने भी, जब हमारा ये केस हुआ तो काफ़ी लोगों ने प्लेस किया अपने ऑर्गन को, कि उन्हें लगा कि नहीं, ये इससे बढ़िया चीज़ नहीं है कि जब हमारी लाइफ जा रही हो और मैं 5-7 लोगों के काम में आ रहा हूँ, तो एक तरह से मैं 5-7 लोगों के दिल में जिंदा हूँ। तो वो लोग कन्विंस हुए, कई जगह उन्होंने प्लेस भी किया है, और मैं जहाँ भी जाता हूँ कोशिश करता हूँ। डॉक्टर वंदना ने भी कहा और सुनैना जी ने बहुत अच्छा काम कर रही हैं। तो मतलब मैं जहाँ भी जाता हूँ कोशिश करता हूँ कि कन्विंस करूँ, ताकि कभी भी किसी की भी अगर ब्रेन डेथ हो या कुछ भी हो, और प्लस फैमिली में भी डोनेट करें। लोग अवेयर नहीं है, अदरवाइज एक किडनी डोनेट करने से कुछ होता नहीं है, लेकिन लोग अवेयर नहीं है और थोड़े से नर्व हैं तो नहीं कर पाते हैं। तो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस तो बहुत अच्छा रहा, क्योंकि ट्रांसप्लांट के पहले तो मैं बहुत प्रॉब्लम में था, और ट्रांसप्लांट होने के बाद हम नॉर्मल लाइफ जी रहे हैं, हंसी खुशी सब कुछ चल रही है। और हमारी फैमिली ने भी हमारा सिचुएशन देख करके सबने प्लेस किया है कि हम ऑर्गन डोनेट करेंगे अगर ऐसी स्थिति ना हो, लेकिन कभी ऐसी स्थिति हुई तो मेरे लिए तो बहुत एक गॉड गिफ्ट है। मेरी लाइफ चेंज हो गई कैडवरी ट्रांसप्लांट होकर के। तो इसके लिए डॉक्टर वंदना और मैक्स शालीमार बाग हॉस्पिटल का बहुत बड़ा सपोर्ट रहा मुझे। शायद वो लोग नहीं होते तो हम नहीं करा पाते, मोरली भी और अदरवाइज भी। तो मैं फिर से थैंक्स इन लोगों को कहना चाहूँगा, एंड दैट्स इट। यही है हमारी
ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग आए,
और मैं कोशिश करूँगा कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग लाइव डोनेट भी करें और कैडवरी भी करें, डिजीज डोनेट भी करें, क्योंकि फैमिली में भी किसी को एक होती है तो लोग नहीं करते हैं, और वो आदमी के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम होती है, मिलता नहीं है। और इंडिया में अभी अवेयरनेस बहुत कम है, बहुत ज़्यादा कम है। ये भी मुझे लगता है कोविड के बाद थोड़ी बढ़ी है परसेंटेज, लेकिन नेग्लिजिबल है। और यहाँ डोनेट लोग कर देते हैं, उसके बाद भी पेरेंट्स मना कर देते हैं, रिफ्यूज कर देते हैं। तो इस चीज़ में थोड़ी अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए। बाकी मैं तो कोशिश कर रहा हूँ अपने लेवल पर कि भाई जितनी अवेयरनेस फैला सकूँ। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू। सो हमें कभी कभी लगता है ना कि प्रॉब्लम हमारे से बहुत दूर कहीं पे किसी घर में हो रही है। यहाँ पे 2 केसेस हमारे सामने हैं, जो कि लगता है कि प्रॉब्लम बहुत दूर नहीं है। हमें लगता है कि हमारे साथ तो नहीं हो रहा ना, जो एग्जैक्टली सुनैना एज यू स्टार्टेड कि it is somewhere else, and when you see it closely then you realize okay, it could be us. And yeah, so that is, I want you to share something because we just have 4 minutes here.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, लोगों को लगता है कि हम क्यों करें? Why do I even need to know about it? Who cares? So like I was telling you, everywhere we go, either for a talk or if you go and meet someone, some 2-3 people from each gathering almost inevitably come later on. They take us to the side and they ask me, so and so is ill, what can I do? So and so is like that. So it's everywhere. You may not see it very openly, but the problems are there everywhere. And like I said, that I had told you initially that you're 6 times more likely to need an organ transplant than you are to be a donor. It's much more likely that you will need an organ transplant. Donation, like we discussed, it's after brain death, so likelihood is less, right? Fewer people will die of that. So, but you're more likely to need an organ transplant. Plus, so many diseases now, like lifestyle changes and all. People are getting sicker more than they were before. So just keep an open mind. That's what we ask to everybody, that it is everybody's problem. Eventually, if you do get a cadaveric donation, it'll be from someone you don't know, right? It'll be from all of us together. Wanting to be an organ donor, pledging, talking to your family, that is what's going to get all the donation numbers up. So I would request everybody to, just go home, discuss it with your family. Maybe they don't even agree. It's possible they're like, oh, what are you talking about? Or maybe they're like, it comes in their mind that, she wants to be. So at the time of death, then they'll remember that. If you don't have the conversation, nobody is going to remember at that time, that she wanted to do anything. So there are many, many people who came and said that, we said yes, because at one time so-and-so had spoken about it and they wanted to be a donor. So we thought, yeah, this is what they wish. So you must talk about it. It's not a taboo. It's a general, way of life. You are either a donor or you're not. Like you said, in the US, abroad, how is it? Abroad also, they know. Do I want a DNR? Do I want to be a donor? These are all very things that people have already decided in their lifetime. And we should also do the same. There's nothing wrong with that. I think a lady had asked about in Switzerland that they have a different system. In fact, in most of Europe, there's a different system. And in India, we have what is called opt-in. So the family will opt in on whether they want to be, donate the organs or not. In the opt-out system, it means that everybody is, by law, an organ donor. If you don't want to be an organ donor, then in your lifetime, you have to go and cut your name off the list. So that way, they bring in a much bigger pool of people, right? So for example, all of us, if we were a country, if it is the opt-out system, it means all of us are organ donors. Now, Meeta may decide that she doesn't want to be an organ donor, right? So in your lifetime, you will go to the government office and you will get your name cut off. If you don't do that, then you're automatically an organ donor upon your death. So that is the system they have in most of Europe. And it works for them because there everybody knows about organ donation. They know what their rights are. And if they really don't want to be an organ donor, then they go and have their name removed. Otherwise, most people will say, forget it, let it be. We'll be organ donor. So that way you increase your donor pool within any country. But that only works when everyone has full awareness about what is organ donation. So in my opinion, it will not work in India because half the people don't even know about organ donation.
So a lot of awareness program is needed. Tell me one thing. Suppose after this show, we all feel that, okay, I want to pledge my organ donation. What is the right way? Like I went, okay, you tell.
So like I said, ultimately, legally, it is your next of kin who will decide. Otherwise, you can go to NATO, www.nato.nic.in. That is the government website. You can also go on our website. We also send all our pledges directly to NATO. We don't, everybody who's giving you a pledge with a registration number is all giving it to NATO. So you go to the Organ India website, and on the home page, there's a button saying apply for a donor card. So you just click that, and you want me to share it and show you?
Yeah, please do that.
1 second, let's quickly share. And time is running out. Okay, so this is the website, right? It's organindia.org. So you go here, okay, you apply for your donor card. You fill the pledge. It'll tell you a little bit about where the pledges go and all of that. Then you open the pledge form, and here you fill it out. Right? You have to put your, this is the form according to the government, like how much, what all information they need. You will have to give one, you have to give an emergency contact name. You will also have to give one ID number, which can be like a PAN, Aadhaar, voter ID. And then, which organs would you like to donate? You can press all organs, or if you want to choose, you can put, whatever, or you can do all organs, right? And here is a thing, where did you hear about us? You can fill that up. And then you have to declare that you're a citizen of India and above 18 years of age, agree to the privacy policy, and then you will be registered with us. And we will enter your information into the NOTA website. We will get your registration number, and we will send you an e-card. So that e-card will come to you. You can either keep it in your that DigiLocker or whatever, or you can get a printout if you want. It's that size. You can go to any printer and get a small card made, laminated, and keep it in your bag. But like I said, the most important thing is that you have to talk to your family. No point in getting the card. It's okay. You don't need the card. What you need to do is talk to your family. That's the most important.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Merlyn, Sushil, any point you want to add? Last message to audience.
I think Sunayana has already said it. The importance of organ donation has already come across this talk that we had. So just reiterating that please go home and start at least a conversation with your family, no matter what the outcome. If it's positive or negative, I mean, at least the conversation happened. So if more and more people start thinking about it, at least it will make a huge difference in many people's lives.
Thank you. Thank you, Merlyn, and all the best. Stay healthy. It's your life is very is gifted by two people, and so yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Khemka, then Dr. Vandana and Sunayana. You're on mute.
Thank you, Meeta.
Dr. Vandana, I know that you will say something in the end.
Just an appeal to people to talk about organ donation amongst themselves. You never know kiski awareness kis din kiske kaam aa jaye. And yes, if you are a family member and somebody in your family is needing an organ, then surely do come forward, because first and foremost, it should come from the family. Why you are waiting for others to donate for you? And to the recipients, I really want to appeal them to earn your life. You are living your life through somebody else's, giving, donation. So please take care of yourself, take care of this organ, because you're living because of somebody else's, I will not say sacrifice, again, it's really, really, really bold decision to come forward and donate. And it requires lots of cost, time, everything. So बहुत सारा inhibitions तो cost की वजह से है, और बहुत सारे inhibitions अपने health को लेकर के हैं. So keep talking amongst each other, make everybody aware about it, and yes, surely there will be some day when the list will be shortened and people will get more organs, live a longer life, healthier life, and a quality of life will be better.
Thank you, Dr. Vandana. Thank you so much. Sunayana, yeah, what you're doing is a very, very, very like noble cause. So how do you want to end the session?
Well, nothing. I just want to just tell people that life after transplant is great. I mean, Merlyn is here. We meet so many transplant recipients. So you're actually gifting them a great life, after donation. So just please feel free to call us on our helpline number and reach out to us if you have any specific questions. And thanks, Meeta, for having us here. And thanks, Merlyn, for coming.
So I'm waiting for mine now. I should expect my donor card because I just filled up the form today. So yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's always nice to connect with all. Yeah. See you next Friday. Thank you. And stay healthy. Stay fit.